Hi guys, Ben here from Mouth of the Tyne. Welcome back to the channel. Yeah, felt like I needed to do this video tonight because we've had some crazy news this afternoon. It does appear that Saudi, aka Saudi Airlines, are lining up a huge new sponsorship deal with Newcastle United. Now, this isn't confirmed yet by any stretch of the imagination, but we've had some excellent photos floating around on Twitter today and from inside the stadium, and it does appear that Saudi are going to be our first major new sponsorship deal of this new NUFC takeover era. Yeah, so we had a few images floating around on Twitter today. It kind of took everybody by surprise. There was Saudi representatives in full Saudi airline uniforms outside St. James's Park. They were down by the Millennium Bridge getting photos taken. And you're thinking, what are these promo shoots for? We are on the verge, we know this, the club's already, talked to us about this. We're on the verge of releasing information on a few major sponsorship deals. The club has been working on this for months now, probably over a year since the takeover actually got signed off. But is this going to be the first one? That is the question on everybody's lips. Now, we've had a few people saying, don't read too much into it. But to be honest, the photos do not lie. Now, we'll show you some of these images as we're talking. But I mean, the pictures outside St. James's, it was very obvious what was going on there. You had the Newcastle United sign in the background. It wasn't just a kind of Newcastle, airport type of thing. This was very specifically at St. James's Park, obviously down by the Millennium Bridge. You've got to get the bridges in if you're covering Newcastle. And yeah, that alone might not have been enough to kind of, raise suspicion. It could be passed off as maybe just, a kind of promo shoot for different reasons, who knows. But the fact that we've had other information like a photograph from inside St. James's Park with the Saudi logo going around the advertising hordes, that is a big thing. There's clearly, some kind of transaction going on here where they are willing to sponsor us. I would like to think that it's not just a kind of, advertising in the stadium sponsor. I would like to think it's bigger than that because this is a huge company. Is it going to be a stadium name sponsorship? Is it going to be a shirt sponsorship? Who knows? But we will try and get to the bottom of this over the course of the next few days and weeks. Yeah, so the news that I received last summer was that the club was trying to buy out Fun 88. I think it was pretty common knowledge, to be honest. There was a lot of information going around at this time that the club was wanting to get rid of Fun 88 with a fresh start for the new takeover era. And it tied in with the release of our blue and gold away shirt, which, a lot of people love the design of. But the colour scheme tied in, and I did a tweet on this, which I'll show you now. The colour scheme tied in perfectly with the Saudi airline logo, which, that, yes, it could be coincidental, but probably coincidental in the same way that the third strip ties in with the Saudi Arabian men's team national shirt. Yeah, come on. It's a coincidence of the highest order, I think, isn't it, really? It's not something that's it's really not being done by chance. My take on it was that they wanted Fun 88 gone, and the club wanted to put the Saudi logo, which tied in lovely with the colour scheme of the away strip for this season. They wanted it done in the summer after buying out Fun 88, and for whatever reason, Fun 88 refused to budge. Obviously, money. It's a big sponsorship deal for them. They may never get a chance like this at a huge club in the future. They're not a huge betting company, so they did well under Ashley to kind of get this sponsorship with us. They probably fought tooth and nail to kind of keep their contract for as long as they can. They weren't willing to go ahead with the buyout of it, and thus the away shirt with the Saudi logo, which would have looked great. I'll show you again, like I say, in the tweets what we posted last year. But it looked beautiful. You could see how the logos and the colour schemes blended together. To me, this is just my opinion, but they clearly wanted that in last summer. Now, for whatever reason, it's taken a good few months to get to this stage now. But it does appear that Fun 88, which we know are no longer here next season, that's been confirmed, could be making way for Saudi, which is Saudi Arabian Airlines. So I'm excited about this. I think you guys should be too. Yeah, just another little snippet. I thought this was interesting too. Dan McMahon on Twitter, a great lad on NUFC Twitter, often has his lunch around the stadium. He said today that he was walking through underneath St. James's Park, and in the advertising kind of signs, what they have underneath there, the electronic boards, he said, this is on the exterior, he said that he saw loads and loads of Saudi and other Saudi-related kind of advertisements on there. There's clearly a massive push from the club to get these like up and running, possibly for the game tomorrow. Are they getting things ready? Is there going to be an announcement in the morning? Are the representatives from Saudi are going to be corporate guests tomorrow, for the last game before the World Cup? It all kind of ties in. I would assume, I would hope that there'd be a maybe press release in the morning. We often have good news press releases before the games these days. It's becoming quite a common occurrence. It seems to get the fans riled up and, in a good way, rather than the misery that we used to receive under Ashley on a daily to weekly basis. But it does feel like there's something brewing. The club weren't very secretive about this, so I feel like, it's kind of, if it wasn't going to be announced for another few months, they maybe would have kept it under wraps. But if it was just going to be announced tomorrow, I mean, what's the harm in a few leaked photos, So it does appear that this is going ahead. I would love this to be our first major signing of the new era. Now, we had talked about this last summer. I know Sean Casey, who you all know from NUFC Twitter, had big info on this, that he reckoned Saudia, aka Saudi Airlines, were going to be one of our first sponsors of the new era. Didn't quite come off last summer. We know this now. Fun 88 refused to budge, as we've just touched on earlier in the video. But is this the time that Saudi have got their deal, and Newcastle United too have also got their corporation that they want to be, want to have sponsor them for the foreseeable future? It's a huge opportunity if true, and it kind of takes us into that next, upper level of marketing, of sponsorship that, Man City have, Chelsea have, Liverpool have, these big corporations that everyone around the world has heard of. That's the way forward. That is the way these big clubs get around FFP. It's no secret. It's a massive part of the income of an infrastructure of a football club to have giant sponsorship deals, whether that be shirts, stadium names. You can have just affiliations like, betting companies. Like, we've got a relatively small betting company that kind of, although Funny 88 have been great, a lot of football clubs have huge betting companies what they work with. Are we going down that route of hopefully upgrading all of our sponsors across the board and, really turning us into this global, brand that we've all craved for so long, and new owners will definitely be craving, because it'll allow them to fund, these signings which the fans really want and they really want much easier, with that type of revenue circulating throughout the club. So, like I say, just a short video, guys. We don't know whether this is going to be, the news that we're all thinking it is. I would be highly, surprised if this is not the first major sponsorship deal of the Newcastle United new era. It just feels like it's been a long time coming. We all thought as we approached January there would be sponsorship deals in place that would allow us to sign players like Madison and Diaby, and it does look like this could be the first one. So keep an eye on things, guys. Let's see how things go over the course of the next few weeks and days. There's bound to be something released in the club over the next, hopefully maybe this week before the international break. But let's just hope that this is it, because if it is, it's the first step on a huge long road to success. This is what we need. We need big money sponsorship deals to help fund this movement, this revolution, which we're all loving at the minute, but we can't do it without these big money sponsorship deals. So yeah, so we'll leave it there for tonight, guys. Like I always say, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you appreciate the content. We'll be bringing you a new full Tyne Whistle show at the end of the week. Well, tomorrow evening, or maybe Sunday, so you can get up to date on the Chelsea game. And, as we approach the World Cup, we're going to do like a kind of third season review. So we'll look back at the course of the last few games since August. We'll review how far we've come, expectations, how they've been surpassed already, and what our expectations are for the future. So we'll be getting Joe, Neil and Elliot on at the weekend, and we'll discuss them. So like I say, if you see the video, guys, come on, drop some comments in the live chat, and we'll kind of read out as many as we can. But yeah, we'll leave it there for now, guys. I'll see you on Sunday. I've been Ben from Mouth of the Tyne. Take care. All the best.